Hi there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 239 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. Today we are hopping onto emotional health and well-being all this month, but we're applying the emotional IDEANCE process to the emotion that we decided we wanted to work on, or the goal for with respect to emotional topic that we want to achieve by the end of this year. I picked changing my relationship with fear, right? And dealing with the whole emotion of fear in my personal life for part of this challenge. Well, step 3 of this process, the IDEANCE process, is E for explore options. How do we go about exploring options? Well, my favorite tool for exploring options and coming up with and understanding what is possible is focusing on brainstorming. Now, brainstorming, by now, I like to think almost everybody has heard of and understands how to brainstorm, but I'm not sure that that's true. So I'll share some of my favorite techniques and a couple of key concepts that we want to make sure we keep in mind whenever we're brainstorming. But basically, we're brainstorming ways to begin to fill the gap between where we are right now with the emotional topic we've selected and where we want to be. Yesterday, we came up with what's our desired state? What is it that we want to feel? What is it that we want our life to look like? And I like to add all the different emotions when I'm visualizing my future state or my desired state. I don't know if you did that or not, but if you didn't, I invite you to do that over the next few days to really get a clear picture of what it looks like when you are living in the emotional way and being the emotional being that you want to be. All right. So what are some ways to brainstorm? Brainstorming, and I'll just share a couple of these, but I probably won't go into them or I end up talking too long. I need a magnifying glass is what I'm looking for. Number 1 is mind mapping. Number 2 is reverse brainstorming, when we focus on the problem and we work backwards with ideas to fill the gap. Starbursting, which is who, what, where, when, why, and why. The 5 of the, I call it the journalistic framework, but starbursting is another name for it, where they knock off the how and they just brainstorm who, what, where, when, why, to make sure that all of the bases are covered when you're considering a challenge, a problem, a situation, etc. And then rapid ideation, where everybody just throws out ideas as quick as they possibly can. Now, there's some principles and guidelines we need to keep in mind when it comes to brainstorming. Now, even if you're doing this with yourself, you want to follow these same guidelines. Number 1, encourage yourself to come up with wild, crazy, far-fetched, reach for the moon type of options and possibilities. Secondly, reserve judgment. Don't judge the ideas as they come up. Just write them down or write down notes that remind you of them. Go for quantity, not quality. Build on other people's ideas or build on your own ideas. Stay focused. Only one conversation at a time when you're doing group brainstorming, which is really important. And then use visuals. Use things that trigger your mind visually that help you come up with more creative and different solutions. Now, I like to break this down to what I call the 10-3-1 tool, where I challenge myself, no matter what I'm looking at, no matter what the situation, no matter what framework I'm using, whenever I'm brainstorming, if I'm doing it myself and with other people, it's usually the number of people times 10 in the group. So if there's 3 of us brainstorming, I challenge our group to come up with at least 30 things. When it's just me, I make myself come up with at least 10 possible options. Why? That gets us over that all or nothing thinking. And as humans, we tend to believe that we only have a couple of options, 1 or 2, and we limit ourselves by that. So the 10-3-1 tool helps to break me, and I hope you, open on the fact that there's infinite possibilities out there to fill that gap. There's so many ways that we can't even imagine to get the results that we want. We just need to open ourselves up to the possibility of that. So what are we doing today? We are brainstorming at least 10 possible ways to fill the gap between where we are and where we want to be. I've not even thought about this yet, but that's what I'm going to be doing too. I'll put 1 through 10 in my handy dandy journal, my annual challenge journal, and I will write down my 10. And then tomorrow we will go to step 4 of the process, which is important to have at least 10 options so that we've got as many as we've got a lot to choose from. So we don't get into that, well, if this doesn't work, what am I going to do? Well, if this doesn't work, then I have to go get a job. We tell ourselves these things all the time, and we want to get away from that. All right. Any questions about this? All you have to do is ask. Hit me up and ask. Otherwise, go out, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.